Thank you, Dave. Good evening, everybody. We've met several impressive athletes, both on and off the field so far this year. Tonight, it's no different as we meet one young woman who isn't afraid of anything, thriving in any situation.
Mary McClorey can fly.
She's the only girl that's over there, typically pole vaulting. And so she's usually fighting for mat time with a lot of guys. Yeah. And the career that she's headed into is a very male-dominated field.
Okay, here we go. Ready for start.
Oh yeah, and thanks to Major Bill Ort, she's really learning to actually fly.
Okay, now put your head set up.
Taking off was cool. We'll put it that way. And then the stalls were really cool.
We're headed south, and it's southwest. It's right over there.
I asked to do stalls because I've done them in a glider before. I wanted to see, in comparison, what it was like on a Cessna. Of course, landing's always a fun time. So we had a really good landing, so that was cool.
You did all right, I have to admit, when you got the hang of it.
Did I do okay? That's good.
On the ground, she's simply put a leader.
How are you doing this evening, Sergeant?
Outstanding, Sergeant.
She's a cadet senior master sergeant for the Livingston Composite Squadron, her Civil Air Patrol unit, a part of the U.S. Air Force Auxiliary.
Okay, when we get close enough to this building here, we're going to spread out on the search line.
Last summer, she went to Search and Rescue Academy at Grayling. She was the only female on staff. The training, not easy.
It was the hardest thing I've ever done, and it was just crazy for me to can't believe I just did that, and all the guys at the end were like, yeah, McClorey, they were cheering for me.
You get done, you have that high. You're like, oh,
wow.
Wow.
It was like runner's high. It was crazy. It was so cool, though.
She's going back this summer to be an instructor now, which doesn't happen often. She's also been selected to train with pararescue jumpers in Arizona this year. She embraces those challenges, thriving in those environments.
One of my biggest goals in life has always been to do as much as I can to help people. And even if that means just one person, it's still a human being. I'm still helping them.
Got this, keep going, let's go, cadets.
So being able to go and, I guess use the skills that I learned, and in a real situation, it would be incredible to actually experience that and help somebody.
If you haven't noticed yet, she's excelling no matter what or who is involved. Easy or hard, male or female, she's a leader.
Being a female, I would love to be a role model for somebody. That would make my life. That would be the coolest thing.
And after seeing all of this, it might be easy to guess where her path, her flight plan is going. The military. She has 2 older brothers in the Navy, but says the Marines is calling her name too, and the value she's put on relationships, as you've probably seen throughout this piece, is a big reason why.
And if those are the type of people that are joining the Marines, and not all Marines are like that, but even if those few are, then I want to be like them, and I want to join the Marine Corps because it might be my home. So.
Right. Her plane has obviously landed, but from everything that Mary does, obviously her path to greatness is having her taking off, really, in life. Reporting from Howell, I'm Tom Eschen. If you know someone who's on the path to greatness, let us know. Find me on social media or shoot us an email, Dave.
Boy, so what's next? Can she have time to do anything else?
Right, she works, she does NHS stuff. She's a junior right now, but she wants to be in the military, so she's going to be one of those people who's protecting us someday. She says her 2 older brothers are in the Navy, but she's also have an eye on the Marines. That's she said that might be where her home is. So.
An inspiration to many her age right there.
Yes, absolutely. Many young women, too.
Cool.
Will Petschenig is 20 years old, 6'2", nearly 200 pounds, and a professional hockey player. Patrick Green is about half of all of that, but the two have more in common than you think.
I lost my father when I was 18, so him losing his dad at 9 years old, that's pretty tough. So I feel for the kid, and he's a pretty special kid.
Patrick was one of Will's Warriors on Friday night, a program Will started to help children in the community cope with the loss of a loved one. Warriors like Patrick get 2 tickets to a game, dinner with Will before puck drop, and dressing room access after the game.
Because the room was where all the scouts and people who run this place.
So, you met a lot of those people today, right?
Yes, yeah. and that's something you never think you do, but you do.
Will grew up in Ottawa, and his father Dan would take him to Ottawa 67's games, a memory he's trying to share with these children.
It brings back good memories for me as well. My dad would take me to games as a kid, and I always think it would be the coolest thing to go to a 67's game on a Friday night.
It's more than just a meet and greet, as Will wants to establish a connection with children like Patrick, making conversation.
He told me that he was defense, and I told him, he asked me what I was, and I said I was defense too.
But he also shares the perspective he gained while going through his grief.
I just make sure that if he ever has a bad day, I just tell him to think of all the positive memories he has of his lost loved one. So that's how I try to keep them positive.
Friday was definitely a positive day. Patrick was a little nervous at first, but then really seized the moment, even the microphone, as he began to realize he was rubbing elbows with the VIPs. Stardom was within his grasp.
Just you see all these people on TV, meeting all these really, really important people. You just wish, I want to be on TV. And then one day, they call you down and say, hey, you want to come to a game for free? Then you agree. You come down and you're on TV. Right. That's what just happened in a nutshell.
He'd go on to say it was the best day of his life.
That made me feel really good. Hearing him say that it was the best night of his life, probably. I almost wanted to cry when he said that, because obviously he had a lot of fun and he was a little bit nervous at first, but once we got to know him a little bit better, it was pretty awesome.
What really makes this special is that Will has done this and will continue to do so for kids throughout the region, throughout this season, a way to remember his father while giving some kids just like him a day they'll never forget, just like Patrick. Reporting from the Dow Event Center, I'm Tom Eschen.
It's time now for our Path to Greatness, connecting young athletes with their future dreams and goals. Tonight we visit Lapeer, where senior Allison Johnson has proven to excel in everything she does, but her future has not been shaped by the successes but a major obstacle she faced along the way. Tom Eschen tells us her story.
Today, sprinter Allison Johnson's biggest concern is that dreaded relay handoff. It's not easy, but she enjoys that challenge.
I like doing the sprints and I like the workouts and everything.
She's run track since middle school. She's the first leg of Lapeer's relay team, and as you can see, she can move pretty fast out there. But she's a state champion in something else. Running isn't her only passion. She's also a third-degree black belt. But there was a time when a board or a baton was the least of her worries. Instead, it was pain.
I was born with both of my hips basically half out of the socket, like it's supposed to be like this, and it was like this, and so the bone was grinding on both of them.
After thinking at first it was growing pains, her freshman year the doctor discovered it was hip dysplasia.
Like my brother was touring colleges and I couldn't even do the walking tours. It would hurt so bad to walk.
And needed 2 surgeries that year to fix it.
But then I was like, I can't even get my own dinner by myself right now. I have to have someone get my plate for me and stuff. Like it was a reality check, I would say.
It was her first time in the hospital. She didn't know if she'd ever compete again. But thanks to a specialized surgeon and determination,
a lot of physical therapy, a lot.
She fully recovered, excelling once again at everything. But because of that pain, her eyes were opened to her future.
And actually afterwards, I went and volunteered at the same hospital that I had the surgeries at, in like the local hospital near me, and it really it just inspired me, I guess. It opened my eyes to like how much you can impact someone else's life.
She's had an impact herself. Her instructor at Dragon Karate is Dan Cousineau, a 10-time world champion.
It encourages me as a martial arts professional to see my students be able to do that. A lot of kids would have just given up, and never ran track again, never done karate again. But yeah, she didn't take that. She took it as a road bump, not a stop sign.
A road bump that's made her realize her potential to not only reach her goals, but help others on their own path to greatness. Reporting from Lapeer, I'm Tom Eschen.
Was she gorgeous? She really never changed. She just always looked the same.
Katie Socci's mother, Tina, says even after 2 years, she still thinks Katie is coming home.
Still, I'll go to call her or something won't happen. And I think, oh, you call Katie and tell her.
She was our oldest.
She was so fun.
They described the last 2 years as a roller coaster of emotions, and yesterday's admission of guilt by David McNamara finally brought them some relief, and most importantly, avoided reliving the murder in a trial.
Like a huge weight being lifted. It didn't make the pain go away. It didn't make the anguish go away.
But it's just like you can breathe.
During those 2 years, even on the toughest days, the Soccis were able to look at that face.
Say Sydney.
Sydney Renee Socci.
Yay, high five.
Of Katie's daughter, Sydney.
Those were the ups. She's just such a beautiful, beautiful kid. And you could not help on even your worst day, you could not help but smile when you walk in the door and see her.
Now, during the interview, the tension kind of broke as we each smelled something burning, only to find that Sydney had pressed this pillow against the gas fireplace here, melting it. As you can see, she did a number on this pillow, pretty much destroying it. Just an example of how Sydney brings some humor into their lives and a little bit of entertainment as well.
Priceless. It's priceless. She's priceless.
Sydney is a living memory of Katie, and with the legal proceedings finishing up, the Soccis are looking forward to keeping that memory in their lives.
And she needs something, so you can't stay there.
Has been out and the snow is coming down hard. Tom Eschen is out live in Liverpool for what is our first really major snowstorm of the season. Tom, how's it going out there? You look very cold.
Well, Dora, it's snowing very hard. I was saying as I came in today, as we were driving to this spot on Onondaga Lake Parkway, it is some of the worst conditions I have ever seen. And I've lived in Syracuse for over 20 years, Dora. I mean, the blowing and the low visibility, you can't see the lines on the roads at this point. The plows have been here on Onondaga Lake Parkway about every 15, 20 minutes or so, so they're trying to keep up, but at this point, it's been really difficult. I was actually up at a thruway rest stop earlier this evening, and people inside were talking about the conditions. Many were going from west to east, so Albany to Buffalo, and they were just commenting on how tough it was to drive in those conditions. Even on the thruway, they said they had to get in one lane and kind of follow each other all the way down the road, and the max miles per hour, probably about 40 maybe, but regardless, whether they're going to Buffalo or Utica, it's still going to be a long night of driving for a lot of those people.
It's tough to see the lanes for sure. Everyone's kind of thinking there's one lane instead of two, and you never know who you're following. A little hairy, you know, coming out from upstate hospital, so, you know, not enjoying the drive too much, but it's winter around central New York, so you got to expect it at some point.
We got to Buffalo, it wasn't bad. As soon as we got to Buffalo, when the snow started falling, and then it's been a constant, not a very fun drive since then. I can't see the lanes to drive. Fortunately, I found a truck. And I've been following a truck for the last hour and a half. And that's just wherever he goes, I go.
Yeah, not a bad plan at all for that man. But at the same time, a lot of people I spoke to out there tonight said concentration and patience were huge, especially when it's this snowy out and when you're going that slow on the roads. You've got to be watching that person in front of you at all times. And best advice is stay inside, hunker down, wait till the snow stops falling. For now, reporting from the Onondaga Lake Parkway, I'm Tom Eschen.
Someday we are going to turn this into a Challenger Field of Dreams, all right? You're going to see it.
Dom Cambereri is the director of Challenger Little League. Because they have to wait until late summer to get fields to play on, he has a plan for a multi-sports complex at Carrier Park in the effort to get these kids what they need.
We'll be able to start in the spring, play into the fall, and allow the league itself to grow to a proportion where we are serving not only special needs children, but special needs adults as well.
Now this is the field they're projected to break ground on in just a couple weeks here, something they're really hoping to do for these kids. As you can see out here today, it means so much to so many of them.
Just like being with my friends, playing out there. Oh my God, no matter what disability I have, I can do it.
It's fun, and I get to meet my friends and stuff.
For the parents, to find an activity like this for their kids is almost refreshing.
A place where he can go, and if he's having a bad day or he's feeling overstimulated, I can take him there and he can be himself.
It was like so sad because my son didn't have kids that accepted him. He didn't have friends. And when I came to Challenger, he met kids that just loved him, and it didn't matter what your disability was.
If enough money is raised and this field of dreams gets built, the Challenger League will grow and those stories of friendship and acceptance will only continue. Reporting from East Syracuse, I'm Tom Eschen.